Let's talk about male feminists. Now, the male feminist has been a scourge on the planet ever since the 2010s, before we had electricity, running water. But the plague of male feminism has found a corner of the internet called TikTok. Yes, where you're supposed to dance to music, but now we're talking about politics and abortion. So, step in the right direction, I guess. So here's a clip of a woman talking about this exact same thing.
All men who build their platform on women's issues are not to be trusted. Men are not the experts on feminist issues. When they build platforms on here, they are not talking to men. Men are not following them. Women are, because women want to be hopeful. Women want to be eager and excited to see a man who fucking gets it.
And this is why you fail. I've tried to be nice about it from the very beginning. Warn people of these male feminists who literally just want to be with women and have easier access to them when they're not really good men at all. They just cosplay as one. I've tried saying it nice. This is a woman's issue, literally, but it's also women's fault that it keeps happening. You know, the old saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It's not shame on you twice. It's you shame on you for allowing this issue, this problem to continue happening, and happens over and over. I think the best advice I've ever heard is that if someone's saying something that's too good to be true, it probably is. And if someone's telling you what you want to hear instead of what you need to hear, it's probably a snake. That second one was my quote, I think. I don't think I'm plagiarizing anyone, but I'll take full credit for it. Send royalties to me. But let's continue. For a second there, I thought I was doing a Leafy is here thing, hiding my face behind the microphone. That wasn't intentional.
But you're not going to come to me on anti-racist issues. We might talk about it. If you're another white person, we might talk about it behind closed doors. I might mention it here. I might use my space to amplify the voices or the lessons or the wisdom that I've picked up from people of color. But I am not the expert. In fact, no one person is the expert on a specific experience based on one person's piece of their identity. I'm not an expert on domestic labor and feminist issues in the home. I have one tiny corner of the world and one tiny narrow viewpoint. To learn about the effects of ableism, I go to disabled people. I listen to immigrants about the immigrant experience. I listen to autistic people about the autistic experience.
Here's another thing. You don't need to know everybody's experience. Like, I don't get the mindset of like wanting to learn everyone's experience of what they go through. It's useful if you want to understand and show compassion and empathy if you're going to help out in those spheres. But if you're just an everyday person, not really involved in anything political or, movement wise, you don't really need to know about other people's experiences. I mean, you have your own life. Why do you have to adopt everybody else's life? You know what I mean? Like, sure, for decency and compassion and empathy, but in reality, it's to just score brownie points. That's literally all it is. I am educated on the plight and the hardships of people who have to eat seal fat. It's cool that you know that it's hard to sleep in an igloo, if people still do that. Good for you that you know that's difficult. Okay, make use of it then. How are you going to use that information? Are you just going to repeat it so people know that you understand the information, or what is it? I'm not talking about this woman, by the way. This is not an attack on this woman. She is saying exactly what needs to be said.
Anybody who builds their platform about talking about an experience that they do not have, to call in other people to understand because they're like them, are not to be trusted. Just because you have a platform doesn't make you an expert on anybody's experience, especially someone else's experience. It is so frustrating to log online and see over and over again people with big platforms who can't take feedback. It's real annoying to see people build big platforms and have people get behind them with all their faith and then say things about an experience that is not theirs and then dig their heels in. just because somebody says something confidently or with a nice camera or with a whole lot of followers behind them does not make them right.
And to add on to that, specifically when it comes to male feminists, if the man you're receiving advice from about women's issues and feminist problems, whatever it is, if that man also sleeps with women, there you go. You know what I mean? He more than likely, given the opportunity, would stuff you in the corner of the couch and gorilla smash. You know what I mean? Like, this is why male feminists do it, because they can't just get the attention of women on their own merits with their own stories. No, they have to adopt this white knight neckbeard feminist propaganda bullshit just to even get the tip possibly touched. You know? Women who go to men for feminist issues and problems and advice on it is like women going to Ariana Grande for advice on home wrecking. Yeah, you'll be a good home wrecker, but if you want to avoid home wrecking, you may not want to talk to Ariana Grande. And I know it's hard to believe because, like, these male feminists, they'll say the correct things. They will. They'll say exactly what women want to hear. But when you find out who they truly are, they say things like this.
I want an agreement where you will regularly lie still for me.
I see. It's an act of service.
I don't give a fuck what you call it. The more you talk, the more you ruin it. Because you're going to say, oh, I like doing an act of service. It's his love language. Okay, well, I can see how... Just shut the fuck up. I just want you to shut up and lie still. I don't want you to talk about it. I don't want to hear the mental gymnastics that you go through to try to absorb it into your nexus of manipulation. I just want you to lie down, face down, and be very still and very quiet until I'm done. And I want you to do this on a regular basis.
What does that mean?
Yeah, that was a very popular male feminist, Mr. Girl, talking to his partner about, oh, the real doll's not enough, because the real doll is not having to give up anything to do that for me. He wanted his partner just to lay there and to be, I don't know if I can use this word on YouTube, graped. That's what they use on TikTok, so I'll use it on here. He wants to grape his partner consensually. Doesn't want to tend to her needs, check in on her. He just wants her to lay there and let him do whatever he wants to do. That was a prominent male feminist back in the day. This is what they want. At least I can give kudos to him for at least being honest about his intentions. But his intentions were dog shit. But that's shining a light on, that's how male feminists think. Like that's what they want. They want women to be subservient. They can't do it through dominance because they're beta male cucks. So what they have to do is slither in like a snake and say, women are just as strong as men. Women can lift as much weights as men. Women can direct movies just as well or maybe even better than men. And then they say this stuff and their women are like, oh, he gets us. And then that's when he's like, yes. And then like he gets the fangs and it happens every single time. And I know it sounds harsh for me to say, like, it's women's fault. No one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear that at all. It makes me feel icky saying it. I don't like it. But it is, because these guys keep showing up and you ladies keep on giving them chances. A good man who gets women is not going to build a platform on it. They exist in a private world. I know this world's mostly digital, but there's a real material world out here for a material girl, where men exist just in the world, not digitally. They don't have podcasts and they don't have a following, right? They're just their own man. They're a lone wolf. That's where you find the guys. I'm not saying every guy with a platform is evil, but I'm saying A man whose platform is solely based on women's issues and talking to women about their issues as if he understands them. He's a snake. Bangs right in you. My advice to women is, well, actually don't listen to me because I'm a man, but if you choose to listen to me, I'm not forcing you to listen to me. I'm offering this advice, take it or leave it, whatever you want to do. Don't fully trust a man with a platform that talks about women's issues. Just don't do it. And also, have a heavy, distrust. Not for every man, but have a noteworthy sense of criticism where you're not overbearing with the criticism, but you're like, okay, I'm going to watch this person. Don't trust fucking anyone. Don't trust anybody until they have proven to you that they are trustworthy. Don't set up tests for them to solve, but just see how they behave and navigate the world. Just see. And then you can decide if you want to trust them or not. A man who begs for your trust through the prism of women's issues and feminist talking points, he's going to sink his fangs into you and inject the venom, adrenaline momentum, okay? Be cautious. Have a healthy dose of cautiousness. That's all I have. Have a good one. Fuck male feminists.